Today on the show, a real gauntlet. Should we just call them Kathleen's Guard? The gift of reverence, our picks of the week, and so much more. The Catholic Underground starts right now. Hello there, it is time for the CU Weekly. We're the podcast that tries to cut through the noise of the digital continent and bring you the topics that matter. It's episode number 394. I am Father Chris Decker. Joining me this week, we've got Kathleen Lee. She's the Executive Director of the Women's New Life Center in Baton Rouge. Hey, Kathleen.
Hello, good to be back.
It is good to be back. And also we got Olivia Gulino, the Associate Director of Youth and Young Adult Ministry for the Diocese of Baton Rouge. Hey, Olivia.
Hello.
And we would be morally remiss if we didn't go up to the Jeff Star 1. So let's head on up there to Jeff Blackwell, who's the technical director of the CU. Hey, Jeff.
Pedaling as fast as I can, Father.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. So giving her all you got is just pedaling faster. That's the way
That's about it.
Yeah, well, that's
Good to be here.
Good to be with you, Jeff. And then right next to you there on the satellite of love is Ed Ball, who is our video director over in the ball pit. So hey to Ed, who he sounded like he had a little kind of quasi cough.
Yeah, he's recovering.
You know? Yeah, but we all have, because one of the things that you may not know about Louisiana is that one of our seasons, right? Most places have spring, summer, winter, and fall. We have spring, and then we have pollen until about fall.
Yeah.
You know, we call it summer, but really it's just sticky pollen.
You just want to die for many reasons.
Right.
That's
And
right.
then it gets a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then you feel like you want to die.
That's right. And you think, oh, maybe I don't want to die as much, and then you're right back to.
Maybe this Christmas I can actually wear a sweater. No? Shorts? Okay.
That's right.
And then you want to die.
And then you want to, yeah. And that's the thing I always tell my parishioners, because inevitably an air conditioner will break or something will be on the blink for at least one weekend, and that's good. This is a reminder of where we don't want to end up for eternity, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'd like to think that heaven is at least 72 degrees
Right?
all the time.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, ideally, it would be a nice cool breeze. I would imagine. See, now this is the strange thing about it, though, is like, so the Holy Spirit comes upon the apostles, and it's flames, tongues as a fire.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's this question as to with the Holy Spirit, is it going to be kind of a nice warming?
Well, I'm thinking too about like the seraphim, like the burning ones.
Yeah, the
'Cause
ones
they're so
closest to God. Yeah.
But I mean, at that point, maybe it's just like that feeling, like when you get in from the cold and you like get around a fire and it's like all
See,
nice
that's what
and
I'm
warm.
thinking
You know
about.
what I mean?
Yeah. Speculative theology at its finest, everybody. Well, speaking of speculation, I don't want to give any spoilers away for those of you who may have seen Avengers, right?
I do.
The Avengers Endgame. Okay. No, don't give any spoilers.
I haven't seen the movie. How would I give spoilers?
I think we're at the cutoff point now where everybody that's going to be spoiled is spoiled.
If you didn't go see it by now, which I haven't, but it's okay.
Yeah.
If you didn't go see it by now, that's on you, boo.
Although I don't think there's any spoilers here, because there's something that has been building throughout the 22 films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe thus far, building to Avengers Endgame. And so there is an object called the Infinity Gauntlet, okay? And it's this, well, you know what a gauntlet is, right? Bishops used to wear them. It's a glove, right? And then this glove has these little openings in it on the knuckles in the center, and I guess it's a thumb knuckle. I don't know. Yeah. And then inside these little openings are holders for what's called the Infinity Stones, right? So the Infinity Stones are these little jewels that are imbued with a different aspect of creation. So there's the Reality Stone, the Soul Stone, the Mind Stone, the Space Stone, the Time Stone, and the Power Stone.
The Power Stone.
Exactly, yeah. And so all of these have been attempted to be collected by this big bad guy, right? Thanos.
Via Etsy.
Yeah, in an Etsy shop. Yeah, you could. Yeah, exactly. So when the gauntlet is equipped with the full set of the Infinity Stones, the wearer possesses all the powers of creation, or at least the abilities of a gamer with all the cheat codes turned on, right? So if you've seen Ready Player One, you see how this works too, which is it's a good book. I
I've
enjoyed
listened
the book.
to the audiobook.
Nice.
Not the whole thing. but
Really,
yeah.
Kathleen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the admiration in his eyes right now.
Goodie for me.
Will Wheaton can read him a book.
And I also knew many of the references. I go, oh, I heard you. Oh, look at you go.
Well, then I can say once you've listened to the book, you're really going to be underwhelmed by the movie.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
That's what I've
it's
heard.
okay though. It's all right. If you can kind of separate and suspend your disbelief. So anyway, back to this to the Infinity Gauntlet, right? So intention matters when it comes to utilizing the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. If you've watched Avengers: Infinity War, you know that Thanos, who's the big bad, wants to use it for what he perceives to be an inherent good, to take away all of the suffering of the world. So the gauntlet itself is not inherently evil. In fact, one of the stones, while separated from the gauntlet, gave life to Vision, who is this robot individual, and he's one of the noblest heroes of the Marvel universe. He was so pure of heart that he was able to lift Thor's hammer that only the pure of heart can lift. You see, so by itself, not a bad thing, but the danger is that absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? And so if you begin to think yourself God, then there's a great temptation to misuse those sorts of things, right? So there you go. That's kind of the deal behind the Infinity Gauntlet. Why the Avengers want to get it away from Thanos, because he wants to do something that in his mind makes sense, but objectively speaking is not good. But okay, all that to say this. The Infinity Gauntlet, the glove-looking thing, has a striking similarity to something else. So the Infinity Gauntlet you see, and then there is a 16th century reliquary containing the incorrupt hand of Saint Teresa of Avila. And it just so happens to be gold or some metal, right? And it also has what looks like rings, right, on all of the fingers and the thumb, and then a central reliquary in the center of the other side of the palm of the hand, right? And it looks very much like, well, it looks exactly like
Yeah.
the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah. So it's a gilded silver reliquary that looks pretty much exactly like the Infinity Gauntlet. In fact, they're even the same colors as the stones on the Infinity Gauntlet, even though they're in a different order. Now, Marvel has not claimed a connection between the two, but it seems likely that somebody in the design department saw the relic and then kind of filed it away. Wow. And I do remember reading on something, because you know how Twitter is, right? I do remember reading that one of the artists that was drawing the Infinity Gauntlet in the comic books back in probably the late 60s, early 70s. I can't remember when that run of the comics was. But he himself, whoever the artist was a Catholic. And so it's very possible that he or somebody that he knew had a devotion to St. Teresa of Avila. And he's thinking to himself, this would really make something awesome for a big bad to wear, or really anybody, right? Because the thing about the relics is that relics are intended for veneration of the saint, so that we can get closer to the Lord. And so it's not, I mean, the idea is that it's not an inherently bad thing, right, to have relics, but like with anything, those objects of veneration can be misused. Right. In fact, all you have to do is look on eBay for relics, and you'll see exactly how that's at work, right? Yeah. So how cool it is, though, that a very Catholic thing made it into this type of a movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so, according to historical records, St. Teresa of Avila's body was exhumed 9 months after her death, and it was observed that her body did not decay, and this is what's called incorruptibility. And even though through the passage of time her clothing had rotted away, her remains were incorrupt, just as they had been when she died. And so then the relics, as they often are, because Catholics are weird, they're distributed for veneration. So her hand was stolen in 1936 by the Spanish military dictator Francisco Franco.
Wow.
And so he took the relic with him everywhere. He even slept with it on his nightstand, which, again, is a little weird.
Yeah,
In fact, that's a
weird.
heightened level of weird. And then it was recovered in 1975. And then from there, the relic traveled to several convents. It found a permanent resting place in the Iglesia de la Merced, so the Church of Mercy, and then the city of Ronda. And so now it's safe, as far as we know, in a locked room behind gilded silver and encrusted with jewels. And I'll tell you, I mean, like, if I were gonna go after something, see, it's really cool too, because you even have a big bad, right? You have Francisco
exactly.
Franco
A dictator.
stealing this thing. So
it's interesting too, because I remember reading about like Hitler and his fascination with
the Holy Spear,
with
the Holy Lance,
like all these like the Catholic relics,
that could then be turned to occult use.
Sure, yeah, and so it's interesting that like even the occultish like still has to recognize some kind of like ontological reality in
That's
something.
right. And that's one of the things you've seen today. It's reprehensible, but the notion that that consecrated hosts are being sold on various marketplace sites because you can only have a valid Black Mass, a satanic liturgy with consecrated hosts. Now there are plenty of other Christian denominations that celebrate the Lord's Supper, but there's only one denomination that not only purports this to be the body and blood of Christ, but has the ability for it to be confected, has the ability for it to be made the body and blood of Christ through the valid priesthood, right? That goes all the way back up to Jesus. And so even the demon must profess the Catholic faith, you know? Yeah, I mean, and they all do. That's because, you know, we tend to get this idea that Satan and God are equal forces, like yin and yang, right? But no, it's in fact, Jesus says it in the gospel today that the Father is greater than all, and the Father and I are one. So it's very clear that Satan and all of his minions and demons are lesser than God because he is a creature, right? He's a fallen angel. So in order to try to get his way, he still has to profess the truth.
And
so he can twist it.
He didn't say, I do not believe, but he said, I will not serve.
I will not serve, right.
You know, those are distinct statements.
Yeah. So it's unconfirmed by Marvel. We just want to underscore that, right?
Which means that it's true.
That's right. That this relic was the influence of the most powerful object in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the possible exception of Captain Marvel, who might be the most powerful.
I agree with that.
Person, or
Chris Evans, man.
But from its visual comparison, it seems very likely that this gauntlet, which harnesses the power of creation, has its roots in Catholicism.
You're welcome, world.
You're welcome, world, for
indeed.
a 22-film cavalcade roller coaster ride that Kathleen and Olivia will perhaps eventually see.
I've seen parts of it.
I have the list.
Oh, so you're going to watch them in order? That's a good...
Well, not all of them, because some of them I'm like, I ain't watching that.
Well, you can skip The Incredible Hulk.
There are several that I'm like, I ain't watching that.
Oh, but Iron Man, all the Iron Mans are
yeah,
good?
of course, all the Iron Mans. All the, but Ant-Man, I'm just like,
Yeah.
It was surprisingly good.
But I mean, do I need it to see to know
Paul Rudd is-
anything?
No, I can give you
I
the
love him
Cliff's
very
notes.
much, but if I got to watch 22 movies, we got to start trimming some stuff down. We
Makes
just
sense.
List of priorities.
sacrifices must be made.
Is there a prioritized
And
list
there's like
of Marvel movies
there's
that
like
I could
4
start with?
Thor movies
I could
that
do
I
that.
need to see. Those are the top. I'm just saying.
And yet, oddly enough, I would say that there are probably a couple of Thors you could cut out.
Nope, not
No.
doing
Same.
it.
See, like her with Thor is like me with Captain America.
Yeah.
Anything with Captain America. What's up?
I have a sense that our priorities might be different in
Yep.
trying to catch up.
Yes.
for-
I respect his virtue. Excuse you.
Yeah, and Thor is.
Well, you know what else you might also, respect? The fact that we are the Catholic Underground. I don't know what just happened there. Actually, I do know. You are listening to the Catholic Underground. We're online at catholicunderground.tv. I'm Father Chris, somehow, with Kathleen Lee, Olivia Gulino, Jeff Blackwell. Ed's up in the
Ball pit.
There it is. That's the one.
There it is.
Our picks of the week are coming up, but we thought that we would dive into something that's near and dear to Kathleen's heart.
Yes,
we might
it
as well
is.
call it the Kathleen segment, Kathleen's Guard.
Kathleen's Guard. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is, of course, the swearing into the Swiss Guard.
Yes.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it happens every year on May 6th. And why May 6th? This is an interesting
I have to
story.
admit, I don't know.
Well, let me tell you. Okay, so in 1503, Pope Julius II was elected pope. And he knew that the Swiss were like really powerful, like their army was really powerful.
Yeah.
And so he contracted with them to create the Swiss Guard. So on January 22nd of 1506, this date marks the foundation of the Swiss Guard. Now, so 1506, this is where we are. He's in a good spot because 21 years later, in the Italian Wars, on May 6th of 1527, we're way back in the back. We're way back in history, right? There were 20,000 Spanish and German mercenaries that attacked the city of Rome. They're coming for the Vatican, right? And 189 Swiss guards plus about 5,000 citizens and militia in the city were against these 20,000 mercenaries, right? And their job is to protect the Pope, protect the Vatican, right? And so the Swiss guards, it says they stood firm at the obelisk, which is now in the middle.
It's in the, yeah, it's in the center.
It's not in the middle, but it was by some cemetery.
They moved it. Yeah,
It's
they
been
moved.
moved, but this was where it all went down, right? And so the Spanish militia killed the captain of the Swiss Guard in his home. Thanks a lot.
Rude.
Right?
If only it had the Infinity Gauntlet.
Right? And so you have this 189 Swiss guards without any kind of leadership, but they know what their goal is, right? To protect the Pope, to protect the Vatican. And so when all is said and done, out of the 189 Swiss guard, 42 were left. 42. You would think that out of 20,000, opposing forces, that they would have wiped out less than 200 guys, but they didn't. It says this: the ones who, when all was lost, under the command of Hercules.
Yeah.
Hercules, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
What a name.
Yeah.
Guarded Pope Clement VII's retreat to safety in Castle Sant'Angelo.
Yep.
Right? The rest fell gloriously, massacred together with 200 fugitives on the steps of the high altar in St. Peter's Basilica.
Wow.
What?
It's hard to imagine.
What a way to go.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, it's hard to imagine a cinematic fight
Right.
in the church.
And how awesome is that? I mean, like, if you're going to go down, this is what they say about it. The rest fell gloriously.
Yeah.
Massacred together. Yes, please. That's where,
Before there were Klingons, there were these guys.
Right.
These were the real bad you-know-whats.
and if you've ever seen a picture of the Swiss Guard, we're going to talk about their uniform in a minute.
Pantalones.
It's quite amusing. But can you imagine these guys, with their big old spears,
Yeah.
or whatever they had?
Halberd,
because I'm
yeah.
sure
They had a halberd, I think, then.
I'm sure.
And
Well,
swords.
Who knows what they had?
Yeah.
And they know what their duty is, right? To protect the Pope. So Pope Clement VII escaped through the Passetto. Ooh.
Yeah, the passage.
Right, that connects the Vatican to Castle Sant'Angelo. They were able to escape, right? And so we have 42 of the 189 Swiss Guard. 5,000 of the 20,000 opposing forces were left.
Wow.
These guys, along with about 5,000 militia, right, wiped out 15,000 people.
Just,
Right.
wow.
If you don't
Good
think
night.
if you don't think a mission is important to people, it certainly is. It certainly is. It says the Vatican says this about the date now. This date, May 6th, which in 1527 was a day of death, today is a day of life, because each year on this day, the new recruits take their solemn oath of loyalty. What? And so I was just thinking, like, as I'm reading this, the Swiss Guard today is a little bit different. There may not be ransacking mercenaries coming into the city, which they'll be prepared for.
Yeah. Because they are fully prepared
Right.
for that.
But like, what is their mission? And so I was like, man, you know what? As much as I do love the Swiss Guard, I don't know much about them. So I found a few facts about what it takes to be a Swiss Guard, which is really cool. First, you have to be a single guy.
Yeah, you do.
You have to be a Swiss citizen.
Yep.
You have to be at least 5'8".
Yep.
Interesting.
There
Yes.
are some shorter of stature Swiss Guards I've noted.
Well, interesting.
Only 5'8".
Yeah.
5'8", interesting, because that's how tall I am.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
for those of you who are watching us on the radio or the podcast, we're looking at the swearing in ceremony,
Right.
And you can see that these guys they're really, they yell whenever they take the swearing in. They have their one hand on the guard flag, the official flag of the Swiss Guard, and then they put 3 fingers up in the air for the Trinity, and they shout, they yell their oath of allegiance.
That's so cool.
Doesn't matter what height you are.
No.
But I bet
And there's
people
an
can hear
age
them better if
They
they're
can,
tall.
that's true.
Right. You also have to, there is an age limit. You have to be between 19 and 30.
Okay, so that's still in the ballpark there, Kathleen.
Yeah,
30-ish.
nice range.
Yeah.
Nice range. I love it. You have to also have a high school degree or a professional diploma.
Okay.
So you have to be
Learned,
educated,
yeah.
right? Yeah. You have to be, of course, a faithful Roman Catholic who is endorsed by your hometown parish priest.
How cool would that be to be the parish priest to say,
Right?
yeah, I'll write the letter?
Yeah.
My,
How do
my,
you
my.
write give him to the Swiss guards in Italian.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Sven is a very conscientious altar server. I'm sure that he would make an excellent Swiss guard.
yes, indeed. Now this is where it
Permission
gets
granted.
now this is where it gets a little serious because this is not just signing up to wear a fancy hat and carry a big spear.
No.
You have to have completed basic military training in Switzerland, right? So you have to have gone to basic training.
Right. Because you're a member of the armed forces.
Right. And then, and only then, can you come for 5 weeks of training with the guards in Rome. Wow. So you come for more training. It's not just marching around in some pretty cool uniforms, right?
Right.
And once you're sworn in, once these guys are sworn in, both the guard and their parents receive a personal or a private audience with the Pope.
Cool.
Where they all receive a blessing, a papal blessing. Super
neat.
cool. I mean, like, how cool would it also be to be one of their parents? Like, I did this. This
Right?
was
That's
mine, right? Okay, so now you're in it. You're in the guard. The shortest contract is 25 months, so 2 years and 1 month, right? 25 months, where the first year you go and you learn Italian, right? And after the first year of getting to know, what it is that you're doing, only after the first year can you be assigned to guard duty at the main gates of the Vatican City.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have to know English.
Many of them do because
Yeah.
they're Swiss.
Right.
And they're
I guess-
smart. I mean,
yeah.
it's pretty much mostly Americans that don't know other.
That's true.
Yeah. And any of the Swiss guards that I've talked to in Rome, they're always very polite. They're very mission oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like if you happen to get a little too close to something that they're guarding. I mean, they're armed servicemen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
They make sure that you know.
Right.
Excuse me, Father. You just step back about 15 feet. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Didn't realize that I was inside the perimeter here. Yeah.
Right. So we're very familiar with their red, yellow, and blue outfits, but this is actually called their gala uniform. It's kind of like their formal uniform.
Yeah, their dress.
And it
uniform.
didn't come about until 1910. Now there is a myth that it was designed by Michelangelo, but it
It's
wasn't.
spurious.
Right.
Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, and so their everyday uniform is actually blue.
It's a very nice blue.
It is.
is.
It's a
nice
beautiful
uniform.
blue. Yeah. And so their gala uniform is sewn by tailors inside the Vatican barracks, and they're tailor made. And so these, it's not just like go pick one out, you're a size large or whatever. They're tailor made to each guard. And after the guard's duty, when they've, I guess, retired, they destroy the uniforms.
Wow.
Like so not me because I can't be one, but he would then
Yeah. Once he's finished his tour.
Right.
The uniform's broken down and
Yeah.
destroyed. And also, one of the things that isn't tailor-made is are their helmets and their armor.
Yeah.
They're trying to fit into the armor of the person before them.
Yeah.
And so they do make some new armor.
Right.
But
Some of the armor is actually original to the 15th century.
that's right.
Are you
There you
serious?
go.
And so as they wear out, they replace them.
And they're beautiful. There's
Yeah,
all this
yeah.
etching with the Blessed Mother on the front, and now some of their helmets are not metal.
No, their helmets. The helmets have a dyed ostrich feather on the top, or dyed ostrich feathers, I suppose.
Yeah, more than
right?
one, I guess.
And it has the family crest of Pope Julius II, which
who founded them, right?
them, right? And it's a beautiful oak tree. It's very beautiful. Yeah. So here's how you approach the guard. If you're ever in Rome, I don't know when I ever will be. Who knows?
It's okay. One day,
Speak that out
Kathleen.
into the
2021.
universe. Yeah. So if you see a guard and he's standing still and he's holding his halberd,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the big long.
It's a pike.
like a spear,
Yeah.
but it's frightening.
It's a pike with an
And
axe on
they're
it.
actually called in their first year. They're not called guards. They're called halberdiers, because named after their
You
pike-
hold the
Yeah.
stick.
pike thing.
Yeah.
Yes. So they're holding their halberd and they're not talking and they're standing still. They're on what's called honor duty. Do not touch, approach,
Don't
talk
approach
to.
them.
No
Yeah.
go. No go. Danger. Return to sender. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if they are standing with folded hands and they're facing the people, right? They're on what's called guard duty. And most of them will, if asked politely, will take a picture
Yeah.
or tell you what you need to know or give you any kind of insights.
And sometimes they will approach you if they see that you're,
Right.
They're
Yeah.
very
In
friendly. I
distress.
will say that.
Yeah. So that's, a little bit to know about them. It's very interesting to think that, I've always thought, like, why are the Swiss guards in Rome? They're a little far from home.
Yeah.
But this dates all the way back to the 16th century, where early on, it wasn't like, and you're thinking, when we go back to the story, 21 years after their founding, that in military terms is such a short amount of time. So it would have been super easy for them to see 20,000 troops coming at them and be like, bye,
Goodbye.
I don't even go here,
Yeah.
right? But because it wasn't just, you're now our military, it's what are you protecting? What do you stand for? Right? And it's so beautiful that has transferred into what they do now, and where they may not be, attacked every day by militia, they are defending the faith. They are, it's an honor for them to do what they do. And so
that's right. And you'll also see, one of the things you'll see too is that some of the Swiss Guard will do a plainclothes detail, and they'll be kind of secret service for the Holy Father too.
Wow.
Yeah. So the gendarmes will do
way
that,
cooler.
but you'll also see Swiss Guards in coat and tie, with the that look
little
like
earwigs.
like our. That's right. Like. Okay, I can't turn in the right direction anyway, but yeah. So they'll actually perform those sorts of things too for the Holy Father. Yeah,
Very cool.
And again, it's because the Swiss. I mean, we think of chocolate today, but the Swiss were like the baddest of the bad when it came to like, you need a fighting force. If these guys fight for you, they will win. And we see that even in the
200 versus 20,000.
Yeah, I mean, it really is kind of a Greek epic,
Yeah.
And as kind of a thank you, if you will, they still serve at the behest of the Pope today, and they do so very proudly.
Yeah. I mean, within 2 years of his papacy beginning, Pope Julius II was like, "You guys, I need you. I need,
Yeah.
He definitely recognized that.
And they're still around.
Yep.
So Kathleen has done all of her homework for the up and coming trip to Rome that hasn't been scheduled yet.
It's okay. But we have all of the talking points for when we meet this
Yes,
right.
I'll be like, oh, look at your helmet with the papal crest of of Pope Julius II's family. It's an oak tree.
May I please pet your ostrich feather hat?
So nice.
So natural. I love this.
Of course, they probably won't be wearing that if they're wearing
No.
their blue uniform
Yeah,
because they
and
wear a
the-
beret.
And
so
they'll probably, yeah.
it's okay. It's all right.
And if they're in plain clothes, they lie to you that they're not
Lie.
Swiss Guards.
Actually, plainclothes is where you want to meet them because there is a bar that they all hang out
Scholars
at.
Lounge.
Yep.
What is it called?
It's called Scholars Lounge.
Oh,
Yep.
yes, please.
But that's
I am
where
myself a scholar.
we saw one. It was like a group of them, but there was one specifically where like I remember you because, and he lied to us.
He said it wasn't me.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah, I don't do that.
Maybe it was undercover.
Well, if there's one thing I can't lie about, it's the fact that we are the Catholic Underground. There's going to be more on the other side of the break, so stick with us. Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy, our life, our sweetness, and our hope. To thee do we cry, poor banished children of Eve. To thee do we send up our sighs, mourning and weeping in this valley of tears. Turn then, most gracious Advocate, thine eyes of mercy towards us, and after this our exile, show unto us the blessed fruit of thy womb, Jesus. O clement, O loving, O sweet Virgin Mary. I feel like I should be solving crime.
You are.
I am. It's this little crime show that we like to call the Catholic Underground, as in it's a crime that we're still coming to you after all this time, isn't it?
That's
No?
wrong.
It's a privilege that we're coming to you after
That's
all this
very
time.
It's a crime.
Yeah.
Put me in.
Sorry,
If it's a crime, put me in jail.
Sorry, I got that right. Yeah, exactly. If this
Thank
is
you,
wrong,
For
Kathleen.
life.
I don't want to
Take
be
PR
right.
lessons from Kathleen.
Sorry, I'm terrible at marketing. I am Father Chris, Catholic Underground, New York. No, Baton Rouge. Joined by Kathleen Lee, but not her Swiss Guard suitor
Yet.
yet.
Yeah.
Olivia Gulino, Jeff Blackwell, Ed Ball, and all of you, you who are listening to us on the podcast and on the radio and on the TV.
That'll be the day, though. I'll die. I think I would die if, like, I came back in 2020, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, guess what? The Lord
This has happened.
The Lord is good. Oh gosh, the Lord is good.
She'll meet like a 30-year-old Swiss Guard
Right.
who's completing his month 24.
Yep.
He's
and-
on his way out, man.
Yeah,
And he's like,
Welcome,
guess
Paolo.
what?
that's right.
Or
Get
whatever
married, and
a
I
Swiss
say,
name would be.
See,
Han. I don't
let's
know.
do this.
I tell you, that's it's a Hallmark movie, folks.
I like it.
We will welcome him with open arms and baked goods.
Thinking about the storied history of the Catholic Underground, this very well could be the most undignified amount of time that we've given to Kathleen's fantasy.
Thank you.
I take issue with your use of the word undignified.
As do I.
Well, I mean, we were talking about.
You know what? I sit through Star Trek references and
Vexillology.
Googly gop about who knows what, and I just need a few minutes to talk about my fantasy love life. I am not ashamed.
And you shouldn't
Preach
be.
it.
Thank you.
Preach it.
You know.
Now, do we have anything else to talk about today?
I was just going to continue with the next segment, which actually connects to all of this too, because if there's one thing that you can really give to the Swiss Guard is it's not just that they were a fighting force, but that if you've ever seen them at a liturgy, they are, because they are practicing Catholics, incredibly reverent.
Yeah.
Right.
They kneel during the Eucharistic prayer, right? They'll kneel there for the consecration. They have certain postures that they assume during the liturgy. And what kind of like the altar servers in the extraordinary form and please in the ordinary form you're supposed to, they help the people to understand what postures to assume.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about here is reverence, right? And cultivating this sense of reverence allows us to cultivate an eye for what's not of this world, for something that's truly kind of transcending beauty.
Yeah, and that's a great way to just kind of summarize reverence. So thank you for ruining my section.
Oh, did I?
No.
Sorry.
No.
And we've been the Catholic Underground.
Yes.
No, sorry.
We're ending early tonight on account of Father Chris. No. That's a great way to describe reverence, especially because reverence is one of those things where we talk about it and we say that we need to have it,
Yeah.
or that we need to like strive for it. But then
what is it?
What is the it? You know, so. First of all, we can talk about what it's not. You know, reverence is not a kind of like heightened emotional state that's like brought, you know, where you're being like brought to your knees by an overwhelming aesthetic experience. Like, it's not that, because anything that is like reverence could be considered a virtue. And I think it is. Anything like that is not going to be based on emotion, because that's not possible. But what it is, it's like Father Chris was saying, it's a way of seeing the world.
Yeah.
It's a disposition towards the world, so that you see like the excellence in things. You see like the traces of God in creation, in you know, relationships, in the sacraments.
So you could even say, I mean, because especially nowadays we're kind of returning to this, dare I say, pagan sense of naturalism, where people talk that I meet God in nature and that sort of thing. You can have a reverence for nature.
Well, sure, yeah.
And we should, right? This is what causes us not to want to kill every bug.
Right.
You know?
Well, okay, I disagree, but they all must die. No,
but there is a sense that
yeah.
there is a beauty in creation, and,
Yeah.
and there is an inherent reverence for respecting it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think a great example for this would be Augustine, because he was very much, you know, he was a kind of Manichaean, like the world, the body, anything material is evil, or it's a distraction from, you know, spiritual things. But then when he started to kind of go through his, what we would call a conversion, and coming to like a deeper understanding of the body and the material world and all that, he's got this beautiful poem. I want to say it's in like book 10. No, that's not right. One of the later middler books, like 8 to 10 of the Confessions. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
Kathleen and I were about to call you out.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
My brain is archiving right now. No, but he's got this really beautiful poem where he kind of goes through the different like levels of nature, and he's basically like personifying his journey to like find the source of beauty. And he says that, like, you know, I put my question to the birds and they said, I am not he. I put my question to the oceans and they said, look higher. You know, like he's basically exploring the beauty of nature and finding that there's something deeply meaningful there, but also finding that it's not enough, and that nature itself is saying, like, look up. You know, so anyway, that if you are interested in that, you could probably just Google like Augustine poem on nature, and you'd probably find it. But I think that's a great way of looking at reverence, because there's a way that beauty is not a distraction from true reverence, but actually feeds it and is the lifeblood of it. Because really reverence can tell me what I'm looking for when I do behold something beautiful.
Yeah.
We've all had that experience, hopefully, where you experience something beautiful, even if it's just a moment, and you sense a deeper meaning, that it's not just, these atoms and molecules arranging, in this particular way at this point in time in the year 2019. Like you recognize that there's something deeper that's working here, and reverence is that kind of wonder, that kind of awe that makes you want to go after it.
Like when a surgeon, is doing an open heart surgery and is struck with that moment as he sees the human heart, beating, or trying to beat, and then he's struck with a sense of awe.
Yeah.
And there is a sense where you're brought to reverence, and you worship the God that made this heart.
Right, yeah. And we get ourselves into trouble when, just like we were talking about the relics earlier, we get ourselves into trouble if we stop there.
Yeah.
If we stop at things that are beautiful, if we stop at things.
And we are reverent towards the heart, right? We
exactly.
worship the heart,
the
human heart,
Because then it becomes an idol instead of an icon. But what reverence for beauty can do is lead us to that ultimate destination. It's a recognition that, like, I want to pursue something deeper, something more, something higher. And I have to follow this path of reverence to get there, and realizing that, like, that's a great way to realize that we are pilgrims, right? Because there's something more that I'm looking for.
Oh, so reverence as a kind of a ladder, if you will, to draw us in deeper.
I think that you could say it like that. It's a kind of Platonic way of saying it, but I think that works, which is very Augustine. But yeah, so reverence is basically just like this attitude of wonder or submission that we owe to God just by the fact that we're alive. The fact that we are a creature and He is creator is a relationship that begs wonder, that begs reverence. Humility on our part, but then when it comes to the response that we give to God, it has to be one of reverence. It's one of gratitude, sure, but it's like fundamentally one of reverence. And it's, it comes from us realizing that, like, we are finite, that I am not my own God. I did not create myself. I have very little control realistically over the things that happen in my life. But it does, I recognize that there's still a deeper meaning to my existence, and I want to go after the person who has revealed that existence to me, who has revealed that purpose to me. And Dietrich von Hildebrand says in the Art of Living, that I think I plugged as my pick of the week a year ago. Yeah, I don't know, who knows. He says that reverence is the attitude that can be designated as the mother of the moral life. For in it, man first takes a position towards the world that opens his spiritual eyes and enables him to grasp what he calls values, what we could say beauty, truth, that kind of thing.
Would you say in some sense then, because I know a lot of folks that maybe are coming to Mass for the first time, or somebody who's a new Catholic, they see perhaps they only can come forward and they know that what's happening is important. And so they show a sign of reverence, a genuflection, or a very conscious effort to hold my hands correct or place my tongue correctly, And would you say that in a sense that's kind of the ability that the Lord allows us to, I hate to say fake it till you make it, but we allow ourselves these external expressions of what we know to be reverence, so that we can, with some way with our body, because whenever we're talking about worship in the liturgy, it's with our body that we show forth reverence, most especially, to allow our heart a chance to kind of catch up, huh?
Well, I think that's a great way of putting it too, because we aren't a soul and then a body, or a body and then a soul. Like, we are both body and soul all the time at the same time.
And we express them simultaneously, right?
Which is why we feel the need to have, like, physical manifestations of even emotion. Like, if I love someone, and sometimes I'm just overwhelmed with the urge to give them a hug, like that's just, it's not maybe something I can put an explanation to, but it's a physical manifestation of an interior reality. And I think too that it's like honestly appropriate in the most fitting sense that we have these kind of bodily expressions of reverence, even though reverence is something that is, like, very deeply spiritual. because, I mean, think about Moses. Like Moses he's beholding the theophany of the burning bush, and God tells him to take his shoes off.
Yeah.
You know, and like to us that seems like, well, that's weird. Like, why would he need to take his shoes off? But it's an outward sign that's giving meaning to, or recognizing the meaning of what's happening, right? That like there's a need for me to show reverence with my body.
Yeah.
And the way that is going to happen is by me having no barrier between me and the holy ground on which this is taking place.
Yes.
You know, and even like when they're you know, solidifying the covenant on Mount Sinai, they have preparations that take place before they can enter into the covenant, but they're all bodily, right? They have to abstain from conjugal relations. They have to wash their clothes, and then they can't touch the mountain. Like those are all things that involve the body, even though they're about to enter into like a spiritual covenant.
Spiritual experience, yeah.
You know?
That's really something. And so if you think about it too, is that God himself is the one who directs that mode, right? He is the one who sets, take off your shoes, Moses.
Right.
He is the one who says, you know, make sure you're abstaining, make sure that you're washing your clothes, make sure that you don't touch the mountain. Whatever you do, don't touch the mountain.
Yeah.
It's not just NORAD, it's also Sinai, right?
Yes.
And he prescribes these things because he knows that if we are given these external ways to show that we desire a relationship or a covenant, then it will bring about the interior reality that it's supposed to convey.
Yeah, because it has to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we are not a composite of body and soul.
Exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we find ourselves, especially here in 2019, is there seems to be, especially on the part of the world, a world that is so flooded with sensuality, but at the same time saying, I believe in Jesus, but I don't believe in organized religion. And what we mean when we say organized religion oftentimes is the liturgy, the external signs of reverence, because we say that gets in the way. And yet God himself says, no, if you're going to be in my presence, allow me to place you in my presence in a way that is perceivable, a way that the relationship can come about.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're right to say too that it's first initiated by God. Because another like big part of reverence is that it's inspired by virtue. Like it's the fruit of wonder and awe, but it's also the fruit of virtue.
Yeah.
So like the more that we continue on in the virtuous life, the more that we're inspired by charity, by love itself, to give God his due, right? And that's how we can, like you were talking about justice a minute ago, and like what is justice when we're talking about God? It's reverence. Right? Because if I'm going to be in the presence of the Lord, which I am anytime I'm in a Catholic church, and especially in the context of the Mass, my attitude has to be, if I'm going to be a just person, is to have an attitude of reverence. And that's just because of who God is and who I am. Yeah. You know?
And that's the thing, is reverence then leads to activating the spirit of piety.
Yeah.
Not that I do the activation, but the Holy Spirit brings it about, right? Piety and fear of the Lord, right? Those gifts of the Spirit are the internal reality of being reverent, of choosing to do that which is reverence. And piety, of course, is a love for the things of worship, a love for the liturgical services of the church. And it's something that grows within us. And so what happens is the more reverent we try to be, you know, the more that I say, I'm going to bow my head at the name of our Lord and our Lady. You know, these little external things, they do free us up so that the grace that God wants to give can then be poured upon us, right? And that's the thing. The externals are not so different from what we desire in the internal. In fact, they're a way of kind of saying, Lord, the gate is open.
Right.
I'm providing my will here.
Yeah. I think the outward expressions, the physical expressions are often seen as like a kind of slavery, like we look like automatons to people who don't know what we're doing.
The ritual is about, right? Yeah.
But really it's kind of what you're saying, like it's a form of freedom because like I experience these things. I have like the need for ritual and for worship that's just embedded in my humanity because I'm a human being who can also like sense the transcendent, and I have to do something about it. Right. And so the fact that we have these motions that are given to us in the liturgy is really just like God out of love saying like, I know, here you go. Yeah. You know, and then, like that's one of the things that's so beautiful about like, you know, that deep dive into the liturgy, especially liturgies, is that you feel more free the more that you're able to learn about why we do this, what we do, and how to do what we do, because it does allow you to like enter into that kind of authentic communion, even if you do have to kind of fake it till you make it. Like, I
Yeah.
know that this is good. I don't really understand why, but I'm going to do it anyway until I figure it out.
And of course, that's what we would know as mystagogia, right?
Yeah,
of,
right.
of allowing ourselves to fall into the externals of worship, of that which we would call reverence, and then beginning to learn the story behind it. You know,
Yeah.
Kathleen might be very reverent towards a Swiss Guard until she gets to know him, and then she has a reason, right? She has a reason to say that's why I didn't just walk up and pat him on the shoulder, but that's why I stood at a meaningful distance and let him come to me. You know,
Meaningful distance.
one of the other things too that unfolds in that is the other different liturgical ministries too. Because I mean, I think about like Kathleen. Whenever I was your assistant parochial vicar, whenever I was at St. Thomas More, you would cover music, right? You would play sometimes, and one of the things I noticed about Kathleen was the fact that she did not perform.
Right.
You know, because you yourself are praying and you're trying to do it in such a way that kind of gets out of the way that your craft, right, your talent and skill. Is at the service of the ritual action that's taking place. Yeah. And there's a real connection too with that reverence, then inviting other people to open themselves to piety, right? To a love of worship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that about the way Kathleen plays music during liturgy. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest pieces of advice was you're not a band. We're not a youth band.
Yeah.
You're a music ministry. And that was Father Tim Hedrick.
Yeah.
He wasn't father at the time, but he was my youth minister. But
Yeah.
And that's the truth of the matter too. Is oftentimes we don't want to see ourselves as the servant within something like the liturgy, you know, because there is always a danger to worship the self.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
No matter what we're doing, whether it's liturgy or whether it's not. And so I think sometimes we are irreverent whenever we're trying to be inauthentic too.
Yeah.
There is something about that.
Yeah. Well, and
Even
irreverent.
the phrase irreverence
Yeah.
is basically being inauthentic.
Yeah, well, and irreverence when we're chasing after things that aren't rightly ordered to our being, right? Like if reverence is kind of tied up with this idea of justice, and justice is giving to each his due, then like it is not right for me to act in irreverent ways.
Right.
It is not right for me
Right, because then it
to
flows from
Yeah.
those official moments where we're called to be reverent.
Yeah. And I think too that there's a big piece of this that's, you know, let's realize that like what God is doing to us, like God is creating the opportunities for reverence with us just like throughout all of salvation history. Like think about it. God starts out, he's in the garden, he's walking in the cool of the day with Adam and Eve, and then the fall happens and that original covenant is broken. And so then what happens? Like he calls Abraham, but he never really like shows himself to Abraham. He appears in the form of the angels, but it's not God, right? Or like it's not like he's not having a theophany in that kind of way. And then but you can see like through Moses and through David and through the prophets that you see that God is coming closer and closer and closer to his people. He starts like appearing in the pot of fire and then the cloud of fire, the pillar of fire. He talks to Moses in the thunder. Like he's getting closer and closer to his people. And then we get the incarnation.
Until the fullness of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Christ comes in the incarnation, and it's just this like complete declaration that like God is near to us. And not only is he near to us, but he wants to be. But that reality has makes certain requirements of us.
Yeah.
As is only just, you know, like that's one of the, I remember growing up, I used to be bothered by whenever we said like, it is right, is truly right and just. There was part of me that was like, this is weird. I don't like this.
Yeah. Why are we saying that it is right and just that we lift up our hearts and everything we have to you?
Yeah. And it just like the way that people were saying it all in unison, I was like, this feels weird. I don't like it. But the more I grow into this reality, I'm like, no, it is right and just. Like,
this is your due, Lord.
Yeah.
You deserve this. If nothing else. I mean, you deserve everything, but you certainly deserve everything that we've got to give you in worship.
Yeah. And I think too that like part of the beauty of that particular reality, only a small part because it is the fullness of reality, is that in the incarnation, like God is not just an idea anymore. You know, like we can't reverence an idea. We can't reverence a concept. But the person who is coming to us, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Eucharist, we can reverence that.
Yeah.
We can reverence him. Because that's someone who wants to have a relationship with you. That's someone who has leaped and bounded through generations and generations and thousands of years of history to find you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that, you know, we get smacked in the face with that at Mass, and like, yeah, it is truly right and just that I come and I offer you this pittance of what I can.
Yep.
But because of who you are, Lord.
Yeah. Because he is the good shepherd that knows his sheep. And I'm so glad, because as much as all of us try to hide and not be known, the Lord already knows us, but he wants us to know him in a mode that we can come to know him. And one of the basic ways that we can do that is being reverent toward God. And then everything else, we open ourselves up. Reverence, if you look at it too, reverence was the Blessed Virgin Mary's kind of first response whenever the angel tells her everything that's going to happen. She is reverent because she listens, and then she says yes. So reverence is kind of, as I say, it's the gateway for us to be able to say those deeper yeses to God.
Absolutely.
Well, you've certainly stayed with us here out in the deep. So I suppose maybe we should go maybe a little closer to the shore for that part of the show that we like to call
the CU Pick of the Week.
Alrighty, you know what? I'm going to change it up today. Jeff.
Ooh.
Oh,
What's your pick of the week? Huh?
heavens
You weren't
to
expecting
purgatory.
that.
No, I was not, but I am prepared, and I'm really giddy about the new album that came out this week, and in fact there was a pre-release for Easter from Rita West, and the name of her album is called Invitation. And if you just go to ritawest.com, you can find it. It's $5. You know, it's not really. You can also find it in all the online music stores, Spotify, iTunes, and so on and so forth.
Wherever fine digital music is peddled.
Yes. And we had her on the air on our radio station in Baton Rouge and New Orleans last week, and she was talking about, kind of jokingly, because, you know, in fact, I've never been on a silent retreat. I've been told I need to.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's about you being silent and letting God talk. And so she said her silent retreat wasn't so silent because 2 years ago she went on a silent retreat, and the Holy Spirit really blessed her with these 5 songs. And but she, instead of just, you know, turning them out quickly, she took the time to, she did like a Kickstarter campaign, went to a professional studio down in Corpus Christi, Texas, of all places.
Yes.
And fine musicians. Her vocals are just over the top good, and I highly recommend it. It's called Invitation, and again, ritawest.com is where you can find it. And the song on here, my favorite, because it's got a little pedal steel guitar in it. And she, by the way, she is a praise and worship leader.
Yeah,
I
sure.
I forgot to mention that early on. So she's, you know, Catholic in her heart and soul, and just loves the Lord. And
That's awesome.
She had a great Easter song that you can sing all year, and it's called Just As He Said. He is
Very
risen
cool.
from the dead.
Which, of course, is a play on the traditional Latin phrase, huh? Of the Regina Caeli, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
that
Resurrexit sicut dixit. He is risen just as he said. Alleluia.
That's, man.
And I tell you, see, that's the
sir.
cool stuff about being on retreat, Jeff. You think you're on a silent retreat, but some of my silent retreats, it's not so that the Holy Spirit couldn't talk to me. It's so that I would shut up and let the Holy Spirit work.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you some of the art and the poetry and things that have flowed from just being able to say, "Okay, Lord, this is your time."
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And
That
so,
is
how
beautiful.
cool it is. And I presume she probably knew that, you know. But
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
but
I
that's
know
also
Rita. She knew that.
but that's also how the Holy Spirit works too.
Yeah.
Is that sometimes these little phrases will happen and they'll work their way into music or poem, and then you'll, like.
But it's just
reading-
natural.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. I can't wait to check that out myself.
It's wonderful.
I've only heard bits of it. All right, so Olivia.
Wow. Well, you're just saving the best for last. It's fine. So my pick of the week is another book called The Intellectual Life by A.G. Sertilange. I don't know. He's French.
Oui.
But he's a Dominican priest, and he wrote this book about just like he was writing it for students, but it's like the ins and outs of like what it means to like strive to be an intellectual. And he's basically just like giving people this like no holds barred, like you say you want to like enter academia kind of thing, like, well, here you go. And he basically he starts off with talking about how like truth is something that like we should orient our life around, and if we don't do it in a virtuous way, then we shouldn't do it at all. So it's been really like good for me to kind of like recalibrate, because I love to learn, but sometimes I, like anyone, I can get so caught up in just the process of learning that I forget why I'm doing it, or like why I'm pursuing certain things. So it's been a good read for me so far, and I'm not done with it. Because he even goes into things like organizing your time or like note taking.
What student
he's
does
got like
that?
he's got like a way of making it real and making it like really potent and powerful
Really?
in in just your daily life. So I really recommend that.
Very cool. We'll put that in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
Kathleen,
Yes.
your pick of the week.
Yeah, I found a really cool place on Etsy. I think the name of the shop is Picnocline.
Yes.
So it's Pycnocline. And she has two themes, Catholic and like sea creatures.
Oh, like
Yeah, and so
SEA.
she makes these. Yeah, so she makes these T-shirts in a really cool way. She bleaches the image on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
so she's
they
got
are
some
really cool. I'm
nice.
looking at the website here.
She's got Saint Teresa of Calcutta, Saint Mother Teresa. She's got the crucifix of John Paul II. An octopus, a
course.
monstrance. Yeah.
Manatee.
I got a friend of mine for Christmas. I got the Stella Maris, the Our Lady of the Sea T-shirt. It's really cool. I'm always looking for cool stuff that doesn't scream I'm Catholic,
Right,
that doesn't, but it's cool to
Comic Sans on a white T-shirt. Yeah.
So it's really cool. I really
Don't get
like.
him started.
Yeah, I really like. She had one about. Oh shucks, I can't find it. But it's a. Here it is. The world is thy ship and not thy home. By and it's a wave and a. So it's not. I know what it means, but like.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's accessible to
Yeah.
anyone.
It's
who's
a
Yeah,
Therese
yeah, yeah.
Lisieux quote,
Yeah.
but
And it's not something. Some people it's gonna be. What is that? And you go, oh yeah, this is.
And I like
You
her
heard of the little
aesthetic. I really
And
like.
she's so sweet. We had such good like back and forth.
Yeah.
Really accommodating. So that's my
Very
pick.
cool. I might have to check that out myself because I do like a good T-shirt.
Yeah. And I just ordered some, unknowingly that Kathleen had worked with her too. I ordered some stuff for the diocese, and like it's really good quality stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, very cool.
Ordered some Our Lady of Guadalupe tea towels.
Very nice.
There you go. My pick of the week is yet another book. I'm a sucker for a coffee table book. And if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, the latest Spider-Man movie from Sony Pictures Animation, so it's a 3D movie.
Oh.
But you'd never know it because they rendered it, all the art, as if it were like a 2D movie. And so you had all these 3D things happening, but with 2D effects. And so this is all of the art, the developmental stuff, the concept art for the film. That's
cool.
that's Spider Gwen Stacy there. So this is my pick of the week, the art of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Because I do love a good art book.
Yes.
So, also, you may not want to go on Amazon to get this because I actually had to go to my local actual physical bookstore because the Amazon person.
They're proud of theirs.
Sketch.
No, well, yeah. Well, after like 3, we're going to recalculate the arrival time. I just canceled it. So go to your physical bookstore. It's in the music and film section of basically any of the big box bookstores that are still left. If you're somewhere
May they
around.
rest in peace.
Yeah, really.
Mighty fine, mighty fine.
Yeah, but we are always grateful for you who are our viewers, our listeners, our benefactors. Very, very grateful. Isn't that right, Jeff?
Yoo-hoo. Yes. This week, the Catholic is Underground is possible. But just because of people like you, okay?
Yeah.
So you can join the growing number of undergrounders at catholicunderground.com/donate. And an important way to support us is to like us, heart us, star us, and share us on your social media platform of choice. If you really like our podcast, pop by iTunes and leave a review. That is a review. Click them stars. Click them stars, young'uns.
That's right. If you like our show, tell somebody else. If you don't, well, it was nice knowing you. Our panelists this week, you know them. They're friends. They practically live in your home, huh?
Yeah.
Or in your garage. I don't know. Maybe
In your ear holes.
That's right. Yeah.
Right in there.
Yeah, that one's Kathleen.
Yeah, pulled
Kathleen
right in
Lee,
there.
the benefactress, Faith Ninja, Hope Samurai, at KLee626 on Instagram.
That is true.
Thank you. Olivia Gulino at The Real OMG with periods in between the words. Yeah.
Yes.
On all the social media. Jeff Blackwell is our technical director at Jeff Blackwellis. Thanks, Jeff. Our research assistant, the leader of the crew in the lab, is Jim Hayes, and a special way, Ben. Our video and graphics director is Ed Ball. And you know me, I'm Father Chris Decker. You can follow me on Instagram at Digital Catholic. And we hope that we've helped you cut through the noise and find that still small voice. We're the Catholic Underground. We're happy to say it's Easter, and we'll see you next time.
from the Catholic underground.